Okay. What is up, peeps? What a night we had last night. Catching some rare ciliates live. Oh, one rare ciliate. Let me just make sure the I think everybody else's like notifications are working kind of okay, and then like my live stream notifications kind of seem to not be. A lot less straightforward than I thought it would be originally. Okay, let's check our curler. Curler's looking good. What is up, people? Hey, Mark. Welcome in. Let me also just pop out the chat. A lot less sophistication when it comes to YouTube chat integration with OBS, but we will attempt to make it work. Okay, so here we are. Ooh, look at this. We got a nice vorticella. Start off with the vorticella. I feel like this is a little dimmer than it normally is. Let's see, shutter speed's good. Good. Okay, we'll work with it. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mud Buckets? Welcome in. Ooh. This is looking nice and crispy. I'm gonna add a little, nah, I think it's okay. It is very warm in here again. No, it's the summer in California, what can I say? Oh, there we go. All right, I had my iris way down. That is the issue, and now it's looking even more crispy because we aren't robbing ourselves of numerical aperture. Okay, good deal, Mark. I'm excited. Having a BH2, you're gonna love it, man. Like, I consider myself to be kind of an old soul when it comes to technology and whatnot. I like simple, high quality stuff, like manual transmission cars and all that. And the BH2 is just everything that you could possibly want. From like, I mean, it's a great microscope, but it's also just fun to use. It's cool to use. I love using it. I love I like 80s JDM cars, you know, like the old Panda Truno Sprinter and stuff like that. And like the BH2 is very evocative of that era, you know, when Japan was going to take over the world. And got some drifters going here. So I'm looking at this stuff. I'm pretty sure this stuff, I thought maybe yesterday when I first saw it, it was like a volvocine algae, but I'm pretty sure this is cyanobacteria, just because it's got that kind of cyano tint to it. Actually, you know what? Let's do for a minute. Let's go ahead and we'll go to bright field. This bright field is always kind of your best choice for seeing color. That out. Go. And just peek that down. Go one stop higher, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. These things. But they're all over the place. They're floating all over this sample. And of course, we've got a lot of like pediastrum. So that's this fella here. These colonial algae. Oh my goodness! Yep, we're gonna have to be on it today with re-wetting the slide. But it's not such a bad thing. One of the things I would love to do is like, be able to like concentrate my microbes more efficiently. Ciliate running around. I got a little rotifer too. Oh, I think I saw one of these earlier. I think there's a rotifer that has these like two really long toes, and it can like kick them. I don't know if this is that one, but there is one of those in here for sure. I forget the species name of that one, but they're always fun. Just doing a little casual bright field, taking it back to the roots. Doing a little, this is a little Andy Chatman core microscopy here. Those of you that don't know, Andy Chatman, you might see him in the chat. He has a YouTube channel where he also has started doing live streaming microscopy. And he is from Thailand. And so he gets some really incredible, unique organisms out there. And he has great footage of them as well. So highly recommended to go check him out. There's nothing poor about bright field. Go to phase contrast, huh? Boom. Phase contrast. I've been coming around to it a little bit more. I still got to figure out what this. I've got something in my optical path up there at like the top of the screen. Got to figure out what that is. I've come to appreciate phase contrast a little bit more. And one reason is that it's really... Oh my god, it's Actinobolina. Oh my god, guys. We found a hotspot. Are you kidding me? Holy Christ. Guys, this is a different slide. We found an Actinobolina hotspot. This is 2 slides, 2 Actinobolina. Oh my god. No way. No way. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No way. Oh my goodness. This is awkward. Yeah, I bet that Actinobolina is not fun to touch. I'm gonna try to get into we'll wait until this thing slows down again, and then we'll go to 20x phase contrast here. I don't know if I'm ever going to become the leading authority on any organism. But maybe I can start a business being like the Actinobolina guy. Start an eBay shop. Wow. So for those of you that have not been following the the saga of the last 24 hours, I did a Twitch stream last night. I went out to the Central Valley of California yesterday to deliver a microscope to my little cousin, and we did some sample collecting while we were out there. And we went to this little man-made pond near CSU Stanislaus in Turlock, California, called Donnelly Park. And it's honestly a pretty unremarkable little pond. There's a lot of geese and ducks out there, but there's not really like, it doesn't give you the impression that it's like a super active like microbial hotspot or anything. Oh no, that's the cover slide. Hold on, oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. I swear this never happens. I'm I'm at the end. There we go. Okay, yes, go that way. End of travel. Okay, we'll try to get this thing under DIC now. So yeah, I went out there and we did some sample hunting, and we got this from Donnelly Park. And yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, this doesn't really look that great. And it turns out that we made a slide when we got back, and I saw all sorts of like rotifers that I hadn't seen before. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I'm going to stream this later. And so I did, and we found the rotifers again, which were awesome. I love finding new rotifers. There are so many wonderful ones out there. And then partway into the stream, I came across what I didn't know at the time was Actinobolina, but I knew immediately as soon as I saw it that it was a very special organism. And so here we have it again. This is, at least according to Journey of the Microcosmos, a rare ciliate, but perhaps not so rare when you know where to find it. Oh no, okay. I gotta fix this. I'm confident now that we can find this thing again. There it goes. I just gotta take my slide out and turn it around, because the cover slip is kind of like dangling off one side a little bit. Okay, we'll just try it. I think it should be up here somewhere. Got if you see it. And if we don't, no big deal. I think we'll find it again. I mean, one time, you know, it can be as rare as anything. Twice, this is literally the second slide I've ever made with this sample. Twice means that we've got this organism there. That's a coleps there. Also a great organism, not rare, but I love coleps. Oh yeah, Mike is asking, what are the projections? The projections from Actinobolina are stinging tentacles that it uses to like immobilize its prey and then like drag them to its mouth. That's according to Actinofreeze, on the Discord. He is a microbe expert. Hey, we got some heliozoans here, green heliozoans. We'll just let the we'll stay on the slide for a while, and we'll just we'll let the Actinobolina come to us. How does that sound? Instead of spending time, because I've already got tons of footage of it. But we'll enjoy some of the other critters on this slide. I'm sure we'll find it again. Josh asks, is the other view DIC? Is it an add-on to the BH2? So yeah, so the Olympus BH2, one thing that's important to understand about like what it is it's really like a system. It's a microscope system. And it's a very modular system. And so being a nice modular system, you know, there's not like, you don't just buy a BH2 and then get a certain image quality out. There's all sorts of optics and accessories that you can get for the BH2. And so for me, I've got the NIC/phase contrast condenser and intermediate tube with the DIC analyzer. And so that now allows me to do DIC. Now the DIC system for the Olympus BH2 was designed to use the S-Plan achromat objectives, but I use the S-Plan apo objectives. And one of the penalties of that is that I get a somewhat non-uniform field of view. What we got here? Oh, just a little algae. But I find that the increased numerical aperture of the apochromats, as well as their really reduced longitudinal chromatic aberration, is a fair trade for a non-uniform background. And coffee, no, we haven't seen Actinobolina get something yet. We've seen it kind of like, might call it like fencing with other critters. I've seen it run into a couple Vorticella. And then I did see it kind of like every now and then it would bump into an algae. I don't actually know what they eat, you know. Like they're not that big, so they can't eat anything huge. We did see it poop. If you guys aren't following me on Reddit, I posted actually I posted on Reddit and on Instagram, and Twitter, which I hardly ever use. I got some footage of it pooping, so that's, I think, a world first. World first Actinobolina poop footage goes to Jason of Diatoms. Got a nice little ciliate here. Maybe paramecium, looking pretty paramecium-ish. Kind of a chubby Diatom or something. Always appreciate a good paramecium. Get it again. Let's go back to 10x. Where'd you get out there? He's a mobile little fella. Ditched me. Unbelievable. Oh, hey, look at this. Is this a... Yes, this is a Testate Amoeba, I do believe. Testate Amoeba is not going to run away from me. Better not. We got a nice little ciliate clambering around on it too. Yeah, this is an amoeba test. So for those of you that don't know, testate amoebas are amoebas that live in shells. And I think some of them sort of like grow their shells, and some of them sort of assemble them. This looks like one that maybe assembles shell. And I think I remember reading somewhere that Testate Amoeba, you know, it's a I always forget the exact term for this. Like, it's not a group of like all organisms that are strictly genetically related. It's just like there's amoeba-ish organisms that have shells, and so they're generally referred to as testate amoebas. A lot of these little green heliozoans, which is cool. An algae. Hey, look at it. Look who it is. I told you guys. Sometimes you just have to let things... If you love something, let it go. Maybe we can see it hunt something. Will it eat that diatom? Probably not. Here we are at 400 times. I really love this. Like, I mean, this organism is just so interesting to look at, like, because it's got those tentacles that deploy, and yeah, and then it retracts them, and then it's got the cilia just constantly, like, kind of waving around. And I ran into this little bit of debris. Yeah, and it's actually like it's a little easier to track than some organisms because it pretty reliably swims in one direction, and then it has like a very distinct pattern of behavior, which is that it swims for a little while, and then it stops and deploys, and then it retracts and starts swimming again. So stop, deploy. I think we might be evaporating a little bit. We'll keep staying on this guy for a little bit. Yeah, the question is, what does this thing eat? You know, probably not anything that's too much bigger than it. And like, now that we found a couple of them, they must be successful in this environment. So there must be something they're hunting. One of these other organisms. Could be just like other really small ciliates. Like that little thing that was just like swimming around there. Oh. Is that a rotifer? I wasn't paying attention. This is sort of a heliozoan versus Actinobolina here. Wow. It was hilarious too. It was like, so I went and I brought my little cousin a microscope, and I brought him some jars too for samples. But I didn't bring any jars for myself, and so I ended up like taking this sample home and just a water bottle, like a crummy plastic like 7-Eleven water bottle. I think it's funny that that's got just these really cool organisms swimming around inside of it. It's kind of deep. Right there looks okay. Fine-tuning my 40X. Yeah, you can definitely see the tentacles are tipped with something, but I don't think nidicite is nidicite the right word, because isn't nidicite like stinging cell? And this thing doesn't have cells, right? Well, I mean it has one cell. But I have seen it like it's interesting. I've seen it like I've seen other organisms like bumping into those, and at least so far they haven't like for instance like nematocysts on Hydra, they're like harpoons, right? And they'll jab something and stick to it. And I haven't seen that happen yet. I haven't seen one of these get like stuck to another organism, so I'm not sure if maybe they don't like stick in the same way. But it does. I mean, one of the things that's just like so captivating about this organism to me is that it's single-celled, and yet what a complex organism. Like what an interesting creature. Like so much going on without any official like differentiation. Also, I think it's worth just taking a moment to appreciate that aside from whoever was watching the Twitch last night, y'all are probably the first ever to see a live streamed Actinobolina. I think that's neat. There was something swimming by there. But it is weird. Like, I don't see, like, obvious prey animals or prey protists for this thing. Wow. Every single time it deploys those tentacles, I'm just like, no way. How do you do that? How do you do that as a single-celled organism? Oh man, I think this slide is drowned out. Hecka. But actually, maybe not such a bad thing. One of the things that's nice about slides when they dry out is that motile critters, at least, will swim away from the interface between water and air. So that can work to sort of concentrate your sample a little bit more. Yeah, Mike, I'm wondering, I had the exact same thought of just like, how is it actually triggering, stopping and deploying stuff? What is the factor involved in that? And I would bet that there is definitely some kind of like, it's got a chemical signature. It's got something. Maybe it's detecting like just a guess. Like maybe it's detecting higher CO2 levels, and so it's like, oh, like maybe there's something doing cellular respiration around here. Although I guess it's doing this right next to algae here, so maybe not. It's interesting too. It's got like some of these tentacles stay short, and then some of them just get so long. Oh, there's a little critter. boy. Yeah, to my knowledge, at least I don't know. I actually don't even remember. I didn't watch that full Journey to the Microcosmos video. I don't actually know if they recorded it predating on anything. It would be really cool to get some footage of this thing actually eating something. I'm sure if it's not the first footage, it'll be, you know, some of the first. One other thing that I did want to do that I didn't get the opportunity to do yesterday, actually, is I would like to get this thing under polarized light. And maybe it won't be interesting at all, but maybe it will be. You never know. Oh, see, we got like, yeah, I was seeing that happening yesterday, like this little like algae thing, but I don't know if it eats those. You know, and like how does the stinging, how do the tentacles like actually trigger? Are they looking for like a ciliate pellicle? When it deploys again, I'm going to attempt to go to polarized light. Oh, okay. Now it's got the. All right. What do we got here? Heliozoan versus Actinobolina. Okay, we'll call that a draw. Oh, what about that little flagellate there? Seems like a good little snack. The other thing too, I mean, I've never seen this thing eat, but like I've seen other stuff eat. You would be surprised at how quickly these things can like snap something up before you even realize it. Going on a long swim now. Ooh, there's something larger. Okay. Stay. Ah. Oh my god. Unbelievable. Is it? Or is it still there? Oh my god. Lost it. This happened last time too. I tried to get this last night under polarized light. Okay, let's go to the NX here. I mean, we're evaporating. We should be able to find this again. Those are coleps. Oh, coleps look great under polarized light. Coleps have calcium, calcite crystals in their their membranes. And calcite is famously birefringent. Look at those. Look at the collapse. Oh, they look awesome. They look so cool. They just pop out like so clearly. Okay, here comes the water. The other thing is I don't really know what that Actinobolina is going to look like when it's swimming around under polarized light. It could be like very not birefringent at all, in which case it could be difficult to see. But we shall continue to poke around and see if we can find it. Is that it? I don't think so. Well, it's kind of twirling like it. Is that it? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, I can just the spears are not very clear. Come on now. Oh man, I accidentally pushed a button. Back to this. Okay, that's it. There we go. 400x polarized light. Actinobolina. Possibly also a world first. Oops. So the tentacles are definitely not birefringent. They're barely even visible. But it's got some inclusions, which is kind of typical of ciliates. See a nice polarization cross on that algae there. $1 to the person who can explain why that cross happens. It's swimming. It do be swimming. They got this nice polar birefringent piece of debris here. Some kind of mineral, I guess. It's so warm in here. My fingers are getting like a little sweaty. It's hard to manipulate the page precisely. Now, collapse, I would imagine, would be pretty impervious to this thing because they have like basically armor plating. Whoa. Oh, yeah, see, Collapse runs right up on it. Doesn't care. Okay, how about just good old-fashioned dark field? Yeah, those tentacles are just really translucent. There's like nothing, they barely show up in dark field. Oh. Did you get poked, little buddy? You get poked? No. I think so. Hey, Mark. Mark asks, how do you get the black background and the forelighting? So I'm using a technique now called dark field. And the great thing about dark field is that it can be done for essentially $0 on any microscope that has an Abe condenser. That's really important. You want to make sure that any microscope that you buy has an Abe condenser. Oh my goodness. That hypertrig is just freaking out. But yeah, it's very easy to set up. It requires no special equipment. And I actually have a video on my YouTube. It's one of my most popular videos called Dark Field Fast. I think, or maybe that's what's in the thumbnail. But just search, I think if you search dark field on YouTube, it's like one of the top recommendations. It's just a 2-minute video that describes how to set up dark field on any microscope with an Abe condenser. How about we do a little bit of circular, back to this. A little bit of circular oblique illumination here. I don't quite have, I need like a very slightly smaller dark field filter. That's why I'm getting this little dark spot in the middle. This is circular oblique illumination, otherwise known as failing to get dark field. Which is going to happen usually at higher magnification lenses. But it's an interesting effect. It's almost, I like to think of it as like budget phase contrast. Yeah. Let's go back here. And we got our collapse again. Lovely little collapse. And this guy. Whoop. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. Some ciliates are just like, they're hard to follow just because they throw the jukes at you big time. 4x. So that, look at this. This is like what's left of the slide. It's all closing in just to this last little corner. This is what I was talking about though, with like concentrating organisms together. But let's go ahead. We will apply a drop of water. We'll give these guys a new lease on life. Maybe we'll introduce some new organisms. I can't see the lights so bright. There we go. So whenever your slides are drying out, more. Just introduce a little bit of water to the edge of the cover slip, and it will wick right in. Oh, is this one of those? Yeah. This is a new rotifer to the channel. I haven't actually identified this one yet. It's an interesting critter that seems to like coat itself in debris. This one seems a little bit naked, but I'm pretty sure this is the same one that I've been watching. I guess it just kind of like has like excretes mucus or something, just like sticks little debris grains to it. Let's see what else we got. And then I think we'll actually move on from this slide to a different sample location. We've got one that I actually haven't looked at yet at all. Oh, hey, yeah, check this rotifer out. Oh, what a cool one. Big long toe. 2 toes or 1 toe? Looks like just one long toe. There's our other rotifer friend, 2 very different rotifers swimming around. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. And there was that other rotifer that I saw that has the 2 long toes that it kicks. Although that one might have gotten dried up, fortunately. I didn't see it. That's Actinobolina there, I believe. Once you see it, once you like get a sense for it, like the way that it moves is very, it's got that kind of like a kind of a smashed football. And of course I'm talking about the correct kind of football. And it just sort of spirals when it swims around. So it's clear once you figure it out. Very cool. Man, we got an Actinobolina hotspot. James Weiss would be so jealous. I remember in that video he said like he's only seen it like 3 times in all the years he's been doing microscopy, and I've got 2 in a row. Okay, I'm gonna make up a fresh slide with a new sample. Okay, a lot of sediment, a lot of crud in this sample. Okay. Cover slip down. And let's see what we get. I'm gonna take this slide, I'm gonna put it in my humidity chamber. We're not so Actinobolina rich that we're just gonna throw those away willy-nilly. We might want to do some more inspection of those. Oh my god! Let's go back to DIC. Let's take this guy out. Hop in the DIC slider. Go. Okay. Go to 10x. Go. Boom. Get that throw down. Wait, no. Hey, look at that. We got a Cerirella, a wonderful Diatom. Cerirella always have very like interesting frustules. We got an interesting little flagellate there. Just lots of stuff poking around in this. That, oh, it's a real big Euglena. It's a real big Euglena. Oh, that's probably Euglena gigas, if I had to guess, just based on the fact that it's pretty giga sized. It looks like a Pennularia Diatom there, struggling to get away from it. Unfortunately, the eye spot's kind of obscured, and these things tend to be very sedentary. But that is a big old Euglena there. Boom, big Closterium. We got a little free space here too. Maybe we can get some critters swimming out in there. And you got the shell of something. One thing that's in this jar that I won't be able to share with you guys is get some Testate Amoeba action here. It looks like it's crunched though. It looks like it got broken. There are a bunch of what I believe are predaceous diving beetles in this jar, and unfortunately they will not fit on the slide. They're too big. Always fun to have those. Ooh, look at this. Is it a Gyrosigma? Looks like one. That's a nice. Got a emphasis on the sigma. I think. Let's see. I think that one's right on the cover slip too. Yeah. Kind of running away from me now. Back. Oh man, the number 0 cover slips, I've been saying it for a little while now. What a great idea to pick these up. Overall, I think they're just way more useful than anything I was using before. Like, I know this slide's real thick. Oh, look at that Cirrella cruising. Slide's real thick, and I'm not getting like as good imagery as I should right now on this Gyrosigma, but I'm using my objective that I couldn't use before. Oh, we got just a bunch of nice diatoms here. This is Sigmoides. Sigmoides, what's almost certainly Gyrosigma. There's a few other, there's like Plurisigma and stuff, but I think this is Gyrosigma. And then we got that Cirrella lurking. And look, that's like Melisira there. Vicula. Those little guys, I think, are Navicula. Always nice to have some diatoms on diatoms. Don't know which one this is, this little pointy dude. I actually just got a textbook on diatoms. I started reading it today. Just reading a little bit about the history of diatoms. And one of the things when they were first discovered, there was a lot of debate over, what exactly they were. And a lot of people, they saw the diatoms moving around, and so they said, okay, they're animals. And so for a long time, there were a lot of people that said, okay, they're animals. And then all the people that would look at like the sedentary, ooh, look at this, we got one of these twisty Phacus. A lot of people that, so there's debate for a long time about the nature of diatoms. I think it was wasn't until like the 1900s or something that it was finally settled. Like the late 1800s. I love a good Phacus. Phacus till you make us. That's what I always say. little difficult to get this one in focus because it's got such a twisty body. I'm tempted to attempt to look it up. I know it's going to start swimming away, though. Aren't you? Aren't you? You're about to start swimming away on me. Unbelievable. I'll leave you right there in the corner. Start to swim. Okay, I believe this is Phacus torta. Phacus torta. Making me a little hungry. I could go for a torta right now. Kidding me? One's in the chat. You like yourself torta? A little bit of lengua in there. A lengua torta. I wonder if there's any late night taco trucks around here. I got the flagella kind of buzzing away there. And we got some Bacillaria there. More Bacillaria. Oh, we should, yeah, here we go. Yeah, we have Bacillaria. And Bacillaria, they're another organism that I'm just like thankful that we have around here because Bacillaria are so cool. There's a nice white euglenoid, euglenid there. Bacillaria, the colonial diatom that always reminds me of like an accordion. This can stretch out. This one's a little slow. Hey, Necalon says, "Hey, saw you on Twitch a few years ago. Now it shows you were just there a few hours ago and not now. Why not?" So, yeah, you're not allowed to stream on Twitch and YouTube Live at the same time. That's the principal reason why I don't do it. So I do dual streams, or I split my time basically. And the reason that I stream on YouTube is that I can stream in 4K 60 frames per second. And when I do that, I'm definitely putting out the highest quality live stream microscopy in the world. I just think that's neat. Yeah, I hear you, man. But I guess, you know, I understand it from a business perspective. I mean, YouTube Live is a direct competitor to Twitch. So, I can see why they do it. It would be nice to do both. But like I said, it is a little more complicated because I would have to deliver Twitch a different stream. Twitch has a maximum bitrate of 6,000 kilobits per second, and YouTube Live has a bitrate when I do 4K of 51,000 kilobits per second. I would have to do I would have to encode like 2 streams separately, which I don't think I could actually do. So it's really not even like possible to do what I want to do. I guess I would have to have like 2 computers. Oh, is this one of those dotty boys? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I forget what these are called. I don't actually think I've ever seen one of these. Well, I probably have, but like I've never like noticed one alive. These are the kind that have little like kind of sparse dots, sparse pores on the frustule. Oh, wow. Look at this huge closterium here. This is an interest. Is it actually shaped like that? Or is it just, maybe it's just pointing down? I think it's just pointing downward. I'm looking for like the, what are they called? Pyroids, I think. They're small. Oh, this is a really nicely like positioned one though. This is a view that you don't normally get. Wow. Let's see, that's right under the cover slip. That means we're going to the 40X. Yeah. Look at that. I don't think there's, well, there's a lot of great stuff. Guys, microscopy is great. There's so much great stuff that you can see with a microscope. But one of my favorite things to do is to just like find a closterium and watch what's going on inside of the cell. Oh, look, there's like a kind of a bigger thing going by. It almost looks like there's something like, uh-oh, the water's starting to evaporate. Oh boy. All right, we're going to attempt to delicately put a little bit more water. There we go. Tap it in. Tap it in. What a cool organism. And the crystals in this one are kind of stuck. There, I can see them jumbling around under that. But I don't know, guys. Am I crazy? Is it not like awesome to watch just the pumping? Like, what is that? Why does that have to happen? What's all going on there? And if you look closely, you can see the striations on the cellulose, the cell wall of this thing. Just so cool. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Always happy to bring you guys some cool imagery here. Oh, this is, whatever this is extremely dark. Look at all these little, like, pellets here. Wonder what this is. Very dark. I don't know. It doesn't look very, it's definitely organic. What if this might be a good candidate for just good old-fashioned bright field? Try to like punch a whole bunch of light through it, you know? Nice diatom. Is that also a Cerurella? I think so. Maybe a different species. Yeah, here we go. Well, they are something. Like little hard little duders. I don't know. Bright field again. Fosterium looks cool in bright field. I like how you can really see like the little inclusions very well. Let's do a little bit of phase contrast. Phase contrast, always good for looking at small things, very thin things that are mostly transparent. There's the Bacillaria, and there's a big shrimpy duder carcass. Phase contrast always presents a very, very flat image. There's actually, like, you know, something I kind of like about that, to be honest. Make sure I'm at my maximum dark point. There we go. There's a little bit of slop when I use my phase contrast. Honestly, there's a little bit of slop in my condenser just in general. I need to like open it up and like really service it. I think it could be a lot better. There's a Rotifer. Sigmoides, Sorella. Oh, hey, look at this. We got, oh, it's Euglena spirogyra. Always like to see Euglena spirogyra. It's cool too. You can like, you can peg them from a mile away. They just have like such an interesting, like their color is always like kind of a golden, greenish brown. And then when you get up close, you can see that they have this just outrageous texture on their membrane. Let's get it under. We'll go to DIC eventually, but I want to actually get this under bright field just to see how that looks. Yeah, so you can see how dark these things are. And like right about there. Look at that. Look at just really cool, like a reptilian, scaly membrane. Euglena spirogyra. Just such a cool Euglena. I really like these. Always fun to find. And they definitely do look a bit like corn on the cob. And I want to show you guys when you're doing bright field microscopy. Now, one thing that I like to point out about Andy Chatman is that he streams in bright field. He does it correctly. He doesn't ruin his images by slamming the iris down super far. If you slam the iris down really far, it darkens up the image. Now if we brighten it back up, you see how like the corn on the cob texture isn't as like well defined anymore? Kind of messy looking. We can actually go a little bit further. We're just slamming down the iris, and I have to turn my ISO up like way high. And look, this thing, you know, a lot of people, they do it. They get their microscope in bright field, and they find out that the iris, when they turn it down, allows them to see a greater depth of field, depth of focus rather. But what they don't realize is that they're robbing themselves of really nice high fidelity resolution of what's in focus. And this thing looks a lot worse now. This thing looks just not great. So if we just open up our iris, and you can see that this thing now looks a lot more alive, a lot more natural. So please, don't adjust your bright field iris like a baboon. Adjust it delicately. Hey Jonah, welcome in. Glad to hear you're having a nice night. You can go to 40x on the thing too. How about that? No rule against that. To open up our iris again, and then we'll close it down. So I'm going to open up my iris all the way, and then what I do is I start closing it down until I see the background just start to darken up, and I know I'm close, and I just move it just a tiny little bit more, and that's it. That's all we're doing. Here we go. A wonderful Euglena spirogyra in bright field. Bright field, definitely don't forget about it after you move on to dark field and oblique and whatever. This is Euglena spirogyra. It's a euglenid, but it's got, you know, most euglenids have kind of just like lines going up and down their cell membrane, and this one has this like this pattern on it. It gives it kind of a, and it also makes it like most euglenids are pretty clearly green, and this one has like, I think it's just a function of this membrane here. It makes it look darker and more yellow. Ah, wonderful organism. Let's switch it into DIC now. Now we can see this thing with a pretty substantial difference in rendering. You can see, so with DIC, that little flagella that we were only just barely able to see sometimes in bright field becomes very clear. And you can see the red eye spot in there, like all euglenas have. And then that white bit in the middle, I believe, is a paramylon grain. That's where Euglena store their chemical energy. Ah. I've been on 2x zoom this whole time, which is fine. There you go. I really love euglenas. They're just like, they're great subjects, especially for DIC. They're just like hypnotic organisms to watch, especially Euglena spirogyra. Yeah, there's some other Euglenas in this sample. We can go seek them out now. That I don't think that's. I think that's just an algae, not necessarily Euglena. Oh guy. I thought this was. This was Actinobolina again. I was gonna lose it. I was gonna lose it if we found Actinobolina again. This is not Actinobolina. Oh, hey, look at this. This is man, I always forget the name of this one. It's a flagellate. They grow on these long stalks, and they like break off and kind of whirl around. Where? Go to the 20x here. Give ourselves a little bit more field of view. Hey, Skeletron. Thanks. Good to hear from you. We're not just back. We're back better than ever, honestly. We're doing some really high quality videos. I got a nice new camera, and we're only just getting started. I keep saying this, and like, I'm not sure if people believe it, but like, we really are only just getting started. I keep getting distracted by like now I've got to make a video about oh, here's another Euglena Nicolon. I don't know if you were here for this one earlier. This is a Phacus, but it is a Euglenid, and this is Phacus torta, a twisted up Phacus. A lot of times Phacus are kind of like sort of frying pan shaped or something, and this one's like all twisted up. Yeah, Anthophysa. That's right, Josh. Thank you. And then we'll go to 10x as well, and we'll just keep kind of pan and mount. And again, for any of you guys that are like new here, you know, I do microscopy. Yes, I do streaming microscopy, and I do what is currently the best live stream microscopy in the world, I would say. But ooh, hello. What are you? What are you? You look like a whoa. It reminds me of Halteria, but Halteria doesn't have these like feathers on it. Whoa. Hello. This is a new one for the channel. Phacus is spelled Phacus. Wow. Look at this beauty. And so, but yeah, so I do live streaming microscopy like you're seeing now. But I also, you know, the whole goal of my channel and like what I'm doing is to grow the hobby of microscopy. And so if you don't have a microscope and you're interested in doing this kind of stuff, getting into it, you can totally do that. And I can help you out. So I have a Discord. There should be a link in the my channel page, the About section. And you hop on the Discord, and I will help you figure out a microscope. You know, get a plan for getting a microscope in place. And it's just a wonderful hobby, and just provides for me endless endless hours of entertainment. There's so much, there's always something new to try with microscopes. What a cool ciliate, man. What an absolutely interesting little critter. I'm so glad I went to the Central Valley, which is not something that most Californians will say. The Central Valley, I hope there's nobody watching from the Central Valley here. It is the butt end of a few jokes, in the more like popular areas of California, because it's just Cowtown. You know, it's just rural town, and so it's got all the typical rural town quirks. Not that there's anything wrong with rural America. We're in phase contrast now. This, oh, I know what I'm done. There we go. That's looking more correct. There we go. Now we're in phase contrast set up correctly. I'm just kind of curious what these little like feathers look like. And phase contrast is always good for looking at really thin stuff and nearly transparent stuff. You can see they're almost like cirri. So some ciliates have almost like little leg appendages that are actually made of a bunch of cilia fused together. And that's what these look like. They look like little cilia all fused together. But yeah, I have no idea what this is. It's not Halteria. It's similar to Halteria. It might be related to Halteria, but it is not Halteria. Maybe I will check later. But yeah. Look at this. We're just finding new organisms left and right. I will be returning to the Central Valley. That is for darn sure. This has become a very cool place to look for organisms. These samples were from basically there's like a muddy area near the San Joaquin River in I forget what city we were in. There's like a grasslands park, and there's like a little boat launch, and there's an area that you can tell kind of like floods every now and then, and it was really muddy. It was like one of those places where like you got to be really careful when you're walking because it will eat your shoe if you're not careful. And my little cousin accompanied me very bravely, I must say, because he's got, you know, smaller feet and is more likely to sink in, I think. And he accompanied me. We had a lot of fun going and getting these samples. And it's turned out to be like some of the best samples I've ever collected. So I'm just like very grateful. Glad I took the time to offer to give him a microscope. Glad that he was interested. I showed him my videos. I was like, hey, like, I'll give you a microscope if you want one. And he was like, hell yeah. So big shout out to Logan. This is how cool stuff happens, you know, not always planned. Just drops into your lap sometimes. Nicolon asks, so when I stumbled upon you several years ago, you know what I remembered about the stream I watched? No, why don't you tell me? What stood out to you? Taco Bell? I've been eating too much Taco Bell this week. Diet is not going swimmingly. Ah, amazing to see within an hour or two, one organism to be eaten by another one, and another one give birth. Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, the great thing about microscopy. Ooh, here we go. This is like a big navicula. Is that it? Great thing about microscopy. Or is that a starnies? Maybe it's starnies. Great thing about microscopy is that it really like condenses the circle of life down into you know, just a time span of hours or minutes even, and just a great hobby, fun for all ages. Well, I do kind of like, I don't know, a lot of people like, I think, you know, parents are like, oh, you know, I'll get my kid a microscope, whatever, you know, hobby for a little kid, but like, microscopy is just a great hobby in general. Kids, come on now. Like any hobby, you can perform it at a lot of different levels. You know, you can just be kind of casual, have something simple, or you can really throw yourself into it. Yeah, Nagalana says that this one is like a boat. I've always seen like battleships in diatoms. Definitely way better than telescopes. Telescopes, we have something of a vendetta against telescopes on diatoms. And I'm not saying, like, I love astronomy. For a long time, I thought I was going to be a microscope, or sorry, a telescope, like a space telescope engineer. And life just didn't take me in that direction after all. So I don't think this is Starnies. I think this is it Navicula? It doesn't have, Starnies has like a really clear like crossbar going across it. I'm not sure if it's Navicula though either, to be honest. So Mark asks, I see some Omax microscopes with 14 megapixels cameras. So, all right, putting the word out. Do not buy any microscopes bundled with a quote-unquote microscope camera. Don't do it. Those cameras are almost always horrible. So just do not do that. Rather, buy the microscope. The Omax microscope's fine. You get an Omax microscope that's got so there's basically 4 criteria that I have for a quality microscope. And that is that it should have a binocular head. It should have 4 objectives. That's usually going to be 4, 10, 40, and 100. It should have a stage table that moves in the X and Y directions so that you can follow critters around. And then the most important thing, you can actually, all those other 3 things, you can get away with not using them, with not having them, fines, whatever. The most important thing is a substage Abe condenser. That's the little optic that is between where the light comes out. There's a lens that like shoots the light up towards the stage table, and then in between the stage table and the lamp lens, the field lens, there is something called a condenser. The condenser is by far the most important part of a microscope outside of the objectives themselves. And so a lot of people kind of get trapped in, they buy microscopes that don't have Abbe condensers, and then they're a lot less useful. There's just a lot less that you can do with them. This is a really interesting diatom. It is not, I do not believe this is Navicula. I'm out on Navicula. It's got really like fine striations, and they're almost horizontal. They don't like point inward like Navicula do. Yeah, so how does this one move? That's a good question, and it's I don't know, sometimes people say it's an unanswered question. I don't think it's that exactly. I think we don't have like a full picture of how diatoms move. We only have like we kind of know what's going on. So if you notice, this diatom is sort of bisected longitudinally by a long, thin line. So there's like a slit going down it, and there's essentially, we know that somehow mucus is like pumped through that slit, and how it and that allows it to sort of scoot around. So you'll see they usually just kind of go forward and backwards, but there's no like flagella or cilia or anything like that. It is purely more like a snail or something like that, of just mucus motion. And so it's hard to blame the first people that looked at diatoms and saw this and were like, hey, those must be animals of some kind, because they're moving around. They're so active. And they have, one characteristic of diatoms is that they have these chloroplasts inside of them, but they are sort of brownish gold rather than like bright green like you see in Euglenas or other like plant algae. So like there's like a bright green algae nearby compared to the kind of duller golden brown chloroplasts of the diatom. So if you're ever looking at something and you're like, oh, is that a diatom? Like, if you see golden brown, that's a point in favor of diatom. This is a very nice diatom. Very, very, very pretty. And we're getting good views of the striae. When I talk about the striae, what I'm talking about, so there's the raphe that goes down the center of it, and then perpendicular to that, a lot fainter, you can see that there are little lines going across. Those are called striae. And those striae will be formed of tiny little pores themselves. Yeah, there's so much to learn, and you're welcome for my guidance. And I want to stress that like I have so much to learn as well. There's really no person who's an expert on everything microscopy and all the biology and all the critters that you might find. Hey, there's our Phacus and our Euglena spirogyra again. Hey Sid, welcome in. You work with Diatom I'm not sure what that is. Do you mean JTTM? Do you mean Journey of the Microcosmos? Is that, yeah, answer the question there? That's the question. I do not work with Journey of the Microcosmos. I have I have interacted with James Weiss on Reddit before. He has responded to my comments a couple times. I did send him an email recently because he responded to one of my comments and he was like, oh, like send me an email anytime like you have like stuff that you can't identify. And so I sent him a link to one of my videos and I was like, oh, look, I made some chapter titles of like where there was new stuff. And I never heard back from him. I invited him to the Discord as well. But I think this is not to denigrate James. I think he's very busy because he does this as his actual job. He's an actual scientist. Scientists are always busy. They're always working on some grant proposal or something like that. So I hope he does pop by the Discord sometime. It would be cool to just have him there talking to people. I know he's got similar interests about getting people into microscopy, getting people paying attention to the little things in the universe. There's our nice Gyrosigma diatom there. Oh, there's a nice these ones they're here that are like really long and curvy. I usually only see those in like marine samples. Starting to evap here. Bacillaria again. Bacillaria, wonderful diatom. We're on the 10x objective right now. So this thing's probably stretching, well more than 1 millimeter across, which is pretty big for diatom stuff. So this is a colonial diatom called Bacillaria. And Bacillaria each one of these things is its own individual diatom, but as they split, they stay kind of stuck together. And so where other diatoms move around and they just slide around independently, these all kind of slide along each other. And so it turns into this really interesting sort of accordion motion. And these ones are honestly, this one's being a little lethargic. These things can actually really move on you at times. Oh, I go. I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling a little bit of dark field, maybe. Good. Yeah, so now we're back in dark field. Again, dark field is a technique that anyone can set up. Again, so when I was talking earlier about buying a microscope and making sure it has an Abbe condenser, this is a good example of like a technique that you need an Abbe condenser for. If you don't have the Abbe condenser, you don't get dark field, which would be a real shame. Oh, hey, look at this. This is a Testate Amoeba here. So this, look at that shell. This is interesting. This one's composed of like really clear stuff. So this is an amoeba. There's a little squishy organism living inside of this shell. Sort of like a single-celled snail. And let's see, why don't we go to the bright field? Here we can see shell and like stuff inside of it. Oh, look! I think it just pooped out a little bit. I think that's what that was. I think it just. Oh yeah, you can see the pseudopodia there. Let's go quickly over to phase contrast. Because in phase contrast, those pseudopodia that are darn near transparent in bright field are going to be nice and obvious here. I do need to put a little extra water on the slide so our boy doesn't get... Oh my goodness, that was a little bit more aggressive than I was hoping for. See if I can kind of... There we go. I'm gonna manipulate this. Bit of an art to working with your slides. Let's see if he'll come out to play again. What's a critid? I feel like this amoeba is like very much shell shocked, no pun intended. This is why I need to get my before my hiatus. I had some magnetic encoders on my microscope so that I would always know what position I was at. So I could like mark this position and come back to it later to check. Oh, hey, there it is. There's the axopodia or the pseudopodia poking out from the. There they are. Checking the surroundings here. That on the right there, that's a bacteria. That's a filamentous bacteria going around. Add some more water. I'm actually going to see if I can thicken up this slide a little bit, and maybe that will allow this amoeba to start dragging itself around. So I think it's kind of pinned right now between the slide and the cover slip. It's coming out of the shell pretty seriously there. And who knows what it's getting up to? Is it trying to move? Is it just looking for something to eat? What if we did a little bit of polarized light? Let's see if that that amoeba test, let's see if that material is birefringent at all. Add that on. Pop in on polarizer. New. Polarized phase contrast, anybody? Little bit noisy, 128,000 ISO. Maybe not the play, maybe not. So looks like there's a couple things inside that are birefringent, but it looks like whatever its shell is made out of is pretty not birefringent. So maybe it's just a silica shell. We can poke around a little bit more and polarize light. Always an interesting technique to work with. When things stand out in polarized light, that usually means something. Now, diatoms are they have almost no polarization response. It's really interesting. You can see this this Nichia sigmoides here. It's getting lit up because of the light passing beneath it. But when it's dark, there's nothing. Good night, Mike. Oh, we do get a little bit of... That's interesting. We get a little bit... I wonder if that's fluorescence. Maybe. I'm just looking at... I'm seeing the chloroplasts are a little bit red. And I'm wondering if that's actually a fluorescence glow. Because fluorescence will show up under polarized light, because fluorescence will not have a polarization. It will be unpolarized. So any kind of fluorescence will pass through. It'll get reduced by 50%, but it will pass through. That's an interesting thing. I wonder if we could test that theory. Oh, here's some kind of crustacean here. You can see its eyes, but it looks like it's smashed up. Ooh, there's another nice diatom. Let's see if we go to the 20x. Now we're getting a little bit of this blue. I don't know. There's our Euglena spirogyra. Oh, look at this diatom. That one's bright red. Cut that down. Let me. Yeah, look, this Pinnularia, when it turns on its sides, That's hard to say. Like, am I just getting... Is it some other optical effect that I'm just not understanding? Why are you red? And like if I go to the 10x, interesting too. And it's more clear when I close the iris down, which is also interesting. Could that mean something else as well? Hey, Nomarski Method's in the house. Good to see you, man. Camera should deliver tomorrow. That's tight. Nomarski Method is a very talented young microscopist and who's been with the channel for a long time. And we're finally getting him set up with like a real full frame camera. With his Olympus VH2 equipped with DIC, and I'm really excited to see what he comes up with. And again, that is really what we're trying to do here at Diatom's is get people into microscopy. Oh, there's a Phacus pyriformis, I think it's called. It's got a twisty body, differently twisty body. You know, that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to get people into microscopy. I want more content creation around microscopy. And I just think it's such a great hobby. Need more people doing it. Need to convince some of these companies that are... Some of the companies that are selling substandard products to start selling good products. And we need the companies that are selling good products to lower their prices just a little bit so that people can actually get like high-grade optics and stuff. That red is real. Here we're at the 40x. The red is very real, whatever it is. Oh yeah, the like Andy has like a really great setup. Also, one of the mods, one of the other mods with microscopy subreddit, Actinobolina, has a really cool setup. So let's see, when I turn the iris really far down, that red, oh wow, look at that. And it's only when I have the iris really far down, which should make the polarization more apparent, like it darkens up the background. Because the reason that the polarization, the reason the background goes all blue here and like and you don't get like really dark extinction, part of that is because we've got this like high angle light coming in. So if I use the iris and I really like stop it down a whole lot, I eliminate a lot of that. So I should get more straightforward polarization, more extinction. Wow. I wonder if this is described anywhere. I'll have to ask Diatom's Attack about this. Because this just seems like such a cool property. Diatoms. I'm having trouble deciding whether or not this is directional. It does seem like when it turns a certain way. Yeah, wow. There we go. Yeah. I'll say, yeah, it's directional F. Wow. So that kind of rules out fluorescence. Really interesting. Any of you guys that are new here, you will come to know that I like to say that microscopy rewards experimentation. So always try new stuff, ask questions. And you might get surprised. Results. Was this our feathery boy? Hard to say. Here comes the water. Well, if your sandpaper is fine enough, that might work. Put a new, a nice new surface on them. Yeah, so viruses, even the largest viruses, are still like just barely big enough to see. And I don't think you would ever like be able to, you know, just be like a dot. You would never really be sure like what you're actually looking at. The viruses are very much the domain of scanning electron microscopes. Most of the stuff that we look at is just nice little critters, fairly large stuff in the grand scheme of things. Dang, thinking about fluorescence, though, it does remind me. I really do need to. We'll have a stream at some point, and we'll do. I'll put my fluorescence attachment on, and we'll do some fluorescent microscopy. See what we get. I've had good results with marine samples in fluorescence, so maybe the next time I go get a marine sample, I will blast it with some excitation light. And we'll see what we get. Alright guys, I think 10 p.m. here. I'm still actually a little hungry. I need to go grab something to eat. Yeah, got a week of work coming up. So I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Super cool. We got, this is 2 days in a row that we streamed Actinobolina, and that's just really far out. I'm excited. I'm definitely going back to the Central Valley again, and really in kind of a bigger scale, it makes me think I gotta start going around to even more places, because the Central Valley is only 100 miles away, basically. Like, it's not that crazy, but it's such a different environment out there, and so maybe I need to go like south a little bit. Maybe that's a direction I haven't done much yet. So maybe go down to like Monterey or something like that, and see what's down there. So anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for me. Make sure if you're not on the Discord to get on the Discord. It's a great place to just come and hang out and talk microscopy. Yeah, we will see y'all later. Thanks, everyone.